Yellowstone Supervolcano. As rising magma sign identified, greatest catastrophe ever warning is given. The Yellowstone Supervolcano would be the greatest catastrophe since the dawn of civilization. This is what one writer warns as he identifies the first sign that could show when such an event was due to happen. We're talking about super eruptions. Yellowstone National Park is holding the supervolcano, one of the 20 some odd supervolcanoes of the world. It has the capacity to inflict worldwide devastation in the event of a super eruption. Last super eruption was 630,000 years ago. We had other super eruptions before that, 1.3 million and 2.1 million years ago. And 2.1 million years ago, the most recent lava creek eruption occurred about 630,000 years ago. It's in the northwest state of Wyoming, overlapping into Montana and Idaho. And this is always monitored by the USGS. Now, science writer Brian Walsh explored possibilities in piecing together what would cause another super eruption. In his book, A Brief Guide to the End of the World, he says a Yellowstone eruption would be like nothing humanity has ever experienced. First would come the increasing intense earthquakes, and that's a sign that magma under Yellowstone is rushing towards the surface. Now, according to geologists, a supervolcanic eruption happens about every 17,500 years, and the last one was in the North Island of New Zealand in the of the Taupo supervolcano that erupted about 26,500 years ago, according to Wikipedia. Kindly support my Patreon channel because YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. I will be uploading at least 5 videos every day. These videos are different from the videos I have on my regular YouTube channel. Please find the link to my Patreon channel in the description box below each video. Thank you for your support. Now, supervolcano is a large volcanic eruption with a volcanic explosivity index VEI of 8, the largest recorded value on the index, and that means the volume of deposits for that eruption is greater than 240 cubic miles or 1,000 cubic kilometers. Supervolcanoes occur when magma in the mantle rises into the crust but is unable to break through, and pressure builds in a large growing magma pool until the crust is unable to contain the pressure. This can occur at hot spots, for example, Yellowstone caldera, or at subduction zones, for example, Toba, and the large volume supervolcanic eruptions are also often associated with large igneous provinces, which can cover huge areas with lava and volcanic ash, and these can cause long-lasting climate changes such as triggering of a small ice age and threatening species with extinction. The Nui eruption of New Zealand's Taupo volcano about 26,500 years ago was the world's most recent VEI-8 eruption. Now, concerning Yellowstone, the geologists said that first would come the incredible increasing intense earthquakes. That's a sign that magma beneath Yellowstone is rushing towards the surface. He said then magma would burst through the ground in a titanic eruption, discharging the toxic innards of the earth into the air. This is what Mr. Walsh explains, that it could continue for days, burying Yellowstones in lava within a 40-mile radius. He explains that the devastation around Yellowstone would be just the beginning, explaining that the super eruption would bury large swaths of Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah, and up to 3 feet of toxic volcanic ash. He explains that depending on the weather patterns, much of the Midwest would receive a few inches as well, plunging the regions into darkness. Even the coasts, where a majority of Americans live, would most likely see a dusting as the ash clouds spread. Crops would be destroyed, pasture lands would be contaminated. Power lines and electrical transformers would be ruined, potentially knocking out much of the grid, he explains. Mr. Walsh said the impacts could be felt globally if the eruption occurred during the summer, as a toxic cloud could block sunlight and plunge global temperatures for years. He says rainfall would decline sharply, and that might be enough to trigger off die-off of tropical rainforests. Farming would collapse beginning in the Midwest. And quoting a group of researchers from a few years ago, European Science Foundation report, Mr. Walsh agreed a super eruption at Yellowstone would be the greatest catastrophe since the dawn of civilization. But the USGS says there's no need to fear. Everything in Yellowstone is normal background activity. Experts at the government agency estimate the probability of an eruption is at 1 in 730,000 any given year. And recent studies suggest the hotspot could currently be in a state of decline. The finding was based on analysis of volcanic deposits that were scattered across tens of thousands of kilometers in the region. And Walsh's book is entitled End Times, A Brief Guide to the End of the World, published by Hachette Books, and you can get that from Amazon, I guess. This is by Callum Hoare on Express UK. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.